Well, hello there, folks. Today I am going to do a rant. A rant. Now, very rarely do I rant on YouTube or on social media, but today I want to do a bit of a rant about something that is specific to the Australian world of training. And in Australia, we have something called the VET sector, vocational education training. Now, I'm going to tell you three of my major beefs with the vocational education training sector. Now, you may hear this, you probably agree with me as I say them, and at the same time, you may think, oh, Mark's a ranting, annoyed, irritated person. Well, it's not really that. All I'm going to do is I'm going to point out three major flaws that are in the system that we all know about, that we try not to talk about, but you really can constrict and constrain what's possible for people when we are running workshops, right? So, as you listen to this, just know that when I share it, it's coming from the best intent, and I'm just pointing out some clear facts that, yeah, for people that really want to help people grow and transform the industry, it can be a little bit of a challenge, right? So I could rename the video the three challenges of the vet sector, three flaws, three whatever we want to call it. But here's my rant, folks. Number one, if you are a trainer or presenter, you are often constricted to teaching what is in what we call the units of competency. You cannot teach outside that and bring in extra stuff. Or if you do, don't get caught. If you do, don't get caught. If you do, don't get caught. And what I mean by this is that there's a lot of stuff that's actually listed in units of competency that people never use anymore, right? And that really ties back to the second point, which is it takes so long for units of competency to be updated, right? So, as we know, there could be massive advances in artificial technology or massive advances in communication skills or new things that have come out that like are far surpassing what's written in those units. So unit might say active listening, but it's like everyone's moved beyond active listening. And sometimes trainers can feel constricted to only teach what's in the units, even while knowing there's so many different and better ways to actually do something, but we must teach what's in the units of competency. And then, as part of that, maybe an actual term in the unit is old or outdated or not even used anymore, but you're still going to teach it. It's like, oh, oh. Right, excuse me as I have my steam come out, right? And so one of the challenges that people face as a trainer is like, something better. Or that, there's so many more things you can actually teach, but it's like, oh, got to be pulled back, right? The next thing is, so first of all, you can't teach outside the units. The next thing is, things are slow to update every, often training packages or units update every 3 to 5 years. So it's such a lag, right? And the last thing is, many times in the vet sector, people do not have enough time to actually practice the skills that we teach them, right? So if you are running a workshop, you would probably know, even as a human, it can take often 10 or 15 or 20 goes at a role play or at a skill or a thing to do it before you get it right. And we need practice time. Our learners, our participants need time to practice, right? And science actually shows people often need to do something 64 times before they actually get it and it becomes unconscious and they can do it without thinking about it. But many times in the vet sector, vet sector, it's like, we're going to train you through doing assessments. It's like, it doesn't make sense, right? So no matter what the qualification is, and side note, if you're looking to, enroll in a qualification here in Australia, make sure any RTO that you talk to has built-in practice time before they're going to get you to do the assessment. Well, that makes sense, right? It used to be the space of training and assessment. Now, many times, due to social instant gratification and also market pressures, people want a piece of paper as quick as possible, and many RTOs will skip that actual practice time or not even really factor that in. But for me, if I'm wanting to be trained or if I'm training you, it's all about the practice time. Really, for me, the assessing is kind of like an afterthought because I want to get you to practice, 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 practice to the point where you can do it without even thinking about it. So those folks are my rants around the vocational education training sector here in Australia. Units, you can only teach what's in the unit. Second, it takes forever to be updated. And third, many RTOs just don't give enough practice time. I'm all about the practice time and all about really creating great transformational experiences for the learners so that they can go off and actually use the real world skills that they actually need to do the task that they've actually signed up for as part of the club. Anyway, folks, I think you get the point. Love the vet sector at the same time. It's got its flaws, and you probably know even more of them than I do. But those are the three ones that I kind of find a little bit interesting, so to speak. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you had some laughs. Maybe you nod your head. What English is that? Nodded your head as you heard me describe those. Thanks, team, and we'll see you on the next video. All right, end of my rant.